Hi kids, it's Pa Ewan again, and World World is Pa Ewan. We are again at Apollo Beach in Florida, looking at the Florida manatee, which we talked about was a subspecies of the West Indian manatee. Now if you look across the way, you'll see the power plant we talked about. Now this is called a Big Bend power plant. It's a coal-driven power plant that supplies a lot of electricity to Tampa Bay and the surrounding areas, so it does hundreds of thousands of homes and provides electricity. Now what it does is when it does the coal-fired electricity, it has water that runs through the plant. What they do is they filter that water, several filters, and they send it back out, and it's approved to go back into the estuary, and this whole area is heated. So if you look straight ahead and you can see where the water is coming out of those spillways, that's the water that's 82 degrees. Normally this water would be less than 68, so the manatees would have to go further south to migrate. Now they don't have to do that anymore. Now the manatees you're seeing, you really can't see them that well, but they look like bumps in the water. There's over 100 of them that are here, and they stay with their mothers for about 2 years. We showed you some babies, and they stay with their mothers for about 2 years, and there's lots and lots of babies down in here. Now what's interesting about the manatees is you can find them in all bodies of waters throughout this area. Whether it's salt water, brackish water, or fresh water, they can live in all of those. And again, they're mammals, so they breathe air, but they can live in all of those areas, and they find different kinds of vegetation to eat when they're there. So we're looking at the manatees now. We're hoping somebody comes close, and again you can see some of the boat strikes, and there's lots of different behaviors they'll show. They'll put their tails in the air. Now they're the closest living relative, believe it or not, is the elephant. Their faces look like a walrus, and they can move their mouths and whiskers just like a walrus can, and their body tapers down to a flat tail that looks like a large beaver tail that goes up and down. Now they normally go very slow, and they're very aquatic and very easy in the water, even with their size, but if they need to go fast, they can do up to 30 miles an hour with a swish of that tail. Now there's a baby coming up right down here. He just went back down again. Now in this water, you can't see it today because it's so murky, but they have several things in here. They do have very, very small sharks. Mrs. Potwin and I saw a shark the other day. There were 2 of them we saw, very small. They don't bother the manatees or the babies. They have tarpon, which is a fish that can get up to 280 pounds and over 8 feet long. We saw some of those that were just gigantic. And here comes another baby. And sometimes a mother will have a little baby and another baby. And in front of us you can see, we're trying to get to it now, there's a mother that's nursing a baby to her left, and there's another baby on her right. Again, they look like big rocks in the water, but the baby was just feeding, and you can see some pretty large boat strikes on the mother, both on her back and on her tail. Her tail is coming out of the water now. So they're beautiful animals. And here's one, Cheryl, if you see this one right here to my right, here's one. There's one with his little nose up, so you can see their noses look like a walrus, and they use that. They have the hairs all over their body. They have bigger ones that are more sensitive near the mouth, so they can feel for aquatic plants. And with the wind, it's hard to see under the water. You just see the ripples on top, but out further you can just see so many everywhere you look here. So this is a good example of how man can interact with the animals. But the biggest fear is what happens if we close this plant. All these animals have learned how to come here for warm water in the wintertime, and what happens when that plant closes. So I'm going to shut up for a little while. I'm going to let you guys look at the manatees, and hopefully someone will come up and do something special. So you guys have fun. It was really fun again this time, and again, endangered manatees. One last thing is I want you to ask Miss Fricker what the 2 things manatees do the most of. When she was your age, she did get to go swim with them, and she was able to touch them. Now you can't do that anymore, but she did go underwater with them, which was really fun. And ask her what the 2 things manatees do the most. Remember that, 2 things, and then you guys can put on your blogs and let me know, and I'll answer you back. So you guys have fun watching the manatees. Bye, guys.
Animals free and on the